All right, good morning, everybody. I'm going to describe to you all the components of the final semester-wide project for everybody who is currently enrolled in forensics. Um, and I'll kind of talk you through the why I'm asking for each thing, but I'm hoping that I created something that is meaningful and it's something that you'll want to do. So I know a lot of you are pissed that your season ended in this way, right? That I know a lot of you were starting to catch fire, and you feel like at the end of the day, everything was taken away from you because of the, you know, pandemic and all of the shelter in place orders and things like that. So my goal is to do kind of two things. Number one is a lot of y'all were catching fire. A lot of y'all were on the verge of getting ready to absolutely murder everyone and everything after the break, that you had gotten the first versions of your speeches or pieces done. You were starting to do some coaching in class with me, with peers, in coaching sessions with the assistant coaches, that we were on the verge of doing a lot of things very, very well, and now we're done. So my goal is for those of you who are in your first, second, or third year of forensics is to essentially guide you through this time as prep for next January. My only kind of complaint with how things went down is that while you all were doing good work, right, it took a while for the light bulb to turn on for some of you, or it took a while for you to feel comfortable with an idea or find something that you wanted to do. And that I get, right, that we have to be kind of picky since we are staking our competitive life on a script or a topic that we're not sure of. So instead of waiting until March for us to discover, holy crap, we might be actually decent at this, the goal is for us in May to walk out with all of you who are ready to compete in two events. That way we can spend all of the fall semester fine tuning. We can spend, December, January, getting ready to blow the dust off of this stuff, be memorized, and be ready to just absolutely start face crushing everybody in January and February, instead of you all kind of realizing in the middle of the semester that you are as good as we're telling you that you are. And right, having to not play competitive catch up. So in this document, you'll find four different descriptions of things that I need you to do. One of them is for everybody, and then the other three are broken down either into, if you are interested in this, I need you to complete it, or if you are, based on your grade level, you'll be asked to compete or complete it. So the first area is for anybody who is still interested in being considered for the national tournament. There are so many things about this process that I don't know what's happening. We as district committees have been asked to come up with methods for selecting qualifiers for all of the events we had not held a qualifying tournament for, which for us is everything but policy. So we don't know what the tournament will look like. We don't know if it will be a physical tournament. We don't know if it will be a virtual tournament. We don't know if we're going to get to recognize people as national qualifiers. And then all that means is you get a firm pat on the back and an award when we can access school again to share awards with you. All I know is I'll find out more information on Tuesday night when I have a conference call with the NSDA, where we find out the fate of the tournament. But I think a lot of us are banking on the idea that there will be some kind of virtual tournament, because that's what the TOC move to as kind of a test balloon, and the NSDA, the organization we compete with or through, I think is assisting in that endeavor, mostly to see if they can make it still work. So if you are interested in being considered for a spot at nationals, I have a list of things that I need you to do as soon as humanly possible, because when these applications go live, I will need all of your information to be able to process it. So the first thing that you need to know are the entry details. You can place yourself in consideration in a maximum of 4 events. You cannot pick 2 partner events, so you can't select public forum and duo or policy and public forum. And then you can choose 2 from the list in line A, right? So if you didn't do the policy qualifier in the winter and you've been doing extemp and oration or DI and oration, and you think you should be considered as a national qualifier in either of those events, you would pick those 2. If you are one of the cluster of people that we selected for the Congress entry before everything started kind of falling apart, then you can let me know that you would still like to be considered for your Congress spot when it comes time for applications. So that can be your 3rd event. And if you are interested in big questions debate, which none of the novices know about, so if you're a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year kid and you want to be on that list, then you may select big questions as one of your events. Also, you all know that the way we determine who gets to represent the district in World Schools debate will be, it's a coach nomination process anyway. So if you are interested in being on that list, then you need to let me know. So you can pick only 2 from item A, and then you can add line B, C, and a note for D if you are interested. If you are picking multiple events or you competed in policy in the fall, then the next thing that you need to do is on your Google Doc, which is where I would put all of this stuff, and I'll essentially make this a worksheet that you can fill out multiple times on Classroom. I need the rank order of what events you want to go in. That way, if you're being considered for multiple events and something slides to you or defers to you, then you've got an option there. And then I need you to do 6 things for me for each event for most of them. So if I am Jacob and I want to go back to nationals and IX for the 3rd time, I would on this form say, Jacob Gernon, he would list that he qualified in 2018 and 2019 to the national tournament. Line number 2 and 3, you can get through your NSDA account. And if you don't know how to find those things, send me a message and I will let you know. But number 2 is your total number of NSDA points. How many have you accumulated throughout your career so far? Number 3 is how many points do you have in just that event? So we can look at your level of competitive success in that event. For number 4, you can list your top 4 performances in this season in this event. So if I were Jacob, right, I would take note of any tournaments I won, state qualified in, placed in, et cetera, et cetera. And then number 5, give your top 4 performances from last season in the event. So you're building in questions 3 through 5, functionally your competitive resume for the event you're asking to be considered in. And then number 6, I want you to give me a paragraph arguing why you should be considered in this event because some of you might ask to be applied in an event, and maybe my initial thought on you is no, but maybe you're persuading me in a different direction here. Or maybe you're looking at an event that's going to be a dogfight. You are equipping me with your best argument that I can then tweak to make on your behalf when filling out the applications. I don't know when this will be due, but if it's going to be a relatively quick turnaround, probably within the next 10 days to 2 weeks. So if you are interested in going to nationals, then you need to do the Area 1 stuff immediately. And then I will communicate with you all on a case-by-case basis if I have follow-up questions with what you're being asked to do here. But if you don't want to go to nationals, don't worry about Area 1. Area 2 is mandatory for everybody. You're going to turn in the final cuttings, drafts, whatever, of anything that you have done this semester. And you see how I want you to title it so we can save them as examples for future students. And then the second thing that you're going to do under the mandatory area is pick one of the events that you did this year, and you are going to do the perfect version of this performance. So you've got, 8-9 weeks to perform and film your event, and we will create a digital forensic showcase that we will turn into a fundraiser where we will ask people, if they like what they saw or they want to contribute to our ability to compete either at nationals this year or, to do more further away competitions next year. We can have a tip jar where people can throw some stuff our way. So I will give you the due date for these two items once we talk about all of this during office hours during the first week or two of our virtual learning stuff. Area 3 and 4 are the ones separated out by experience level. So if you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior, you are going to do the Area 3 assignment. And essentially what you're doing is picking your speech topics, your cuttings, your scripts, your whatever you're going to do for next year. And the goal is by the end of the semester to have a final draft of any of these events. That way we can turn around next season and start honing earlier instead of everybody starting from square one in January and then us realizing, oh crap, we're decent by March. So you're going to pick two events. Public forum is off the table for this assignment. If you are going to pick Extemp, LD, or Congress as one of your events, then we will talk in office hours about different guidelines for what you will do for those events. But you're going to start writing a speech. You're going to start researching. You're going to start reading books. You're going to start reading scripts, finding poems, doing anything that you need to do to create your first version of what we will, hopefully beat everybody to death with next year when we are competing. If you need some help finding resources, then the last page of this document will have some links for places for you to find scripts and things like that. Don't run out and buy stuff right away. If you find something you are intrigued by, let me know and I will see if I can find a version in the litany of all things that are becoming free for a short period of time because, everybody is trapped at home. Public libraries are closed and people are, flooding the internet with their educational resources to help everybody get through this time. So if you find something, let me know. I will create an assignment on Google Classroom with a late due date for it, right? So if we know the end game is for you to have this turned in by the end of the semester, the due date for this assignment on Classroom might be something like this Tuesday or Wednesday. That way I can automatically get an email every time someone submits a draft of something that they want me to look at for feedback. the last cluster is for the seniors. Um, a lot of you, like, for all of the people I feel bad for, it's you all, right? That you all are missing out on so many, different things that are taken away from you. And the number of texts or emails that I got from seniors on the day that the governor announced that schools were physically closed for the remainder of the semester, like, that's what screwed me up the most, in terms of you all just kind of attempting to cope with you losing a lot of things. Um, but I feel like, in a world where we all have room to grow and improve, this is something that I was working on implementing a lot of y'all's suggestions from the past couple of years in terms of using class time better. But I ran out of resources, or once I started hitting my stride, right, the school building was like, can't come back anymore. So you all are going to help leave a lasting impact or legacy on the squad by creating versions of some of the activities we started the beginning of the semester with, specific to individual events, that I'm going to turn to the people who have been doing this for 2, 3, or 4 years and are pretty damn good at it, to help me create 5 self-paced lessons that I can give to novices or individuals who are diving into the pool of a new event, and kind of share with them your expert, thoughts on how they can dive in and get started. That way, if I have a massive class like my 8th hour this year, again next year, then it's easier for me to give consistent direction to a large group full of people while everybody's working on 50 different things. So I want you to pick the event that you either think you're the best at or the most passionate about. And you're going to create 5 self-paced video lessons that can cover anything that you think is necessary from the items on this list, or anything that's not on the list that you think is a good, idea, talking point, lesson, etc., that should be shared with people who want to be as good as you are, or better than you, in the event that you've dedicated your career to. So look at that list. We can talk about ideas that you might have, things that I might have resource-wise that you can tweak to share with people as kind of a starting point on some of these items. But this is kind of your ability to create a resource that will continue training future generations of competitors after y'all have, disappeared to the fancy colleges and or KU and K-State that you are, leaving us for, hopefully in August, maybe, if this whole virus thing is gone, but we'll see. So I want you to look through this. If you've got questions, be prepared to either email me with questions, respond to this on Classroom with questions, or be ready to come to office hours with questions about the process of what exactly I'm asking you to do. All right, have a good one, and I'll talk to you all this week.